Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. I haven't done a deck tech in a minute, and I just got some stuff in the mail for this deck. So I figured I would show it off a little bit. Boss Man wanted to get some modern decks put together, so I got one put together. It is relatively budget, not 100%, but mostly budget. And prerogative is to eventually get it full powered. Starting off with 4 Psychic Frogs. Very strong creature, draws cards, can gain flying, it's an enabler of things, and it lets you draw cards on connection with either players or planeswalkers. It's very strong. And it also helps fill the graveyard, which you'll see is used a lot with 2 Abhorrent Oculus. They have an additional cost of exiling 6 cards from your graveyard. It has flying, 5/5, and it's also a 5/5. Beginning of each opponent's upkeep, you manifest Dread, helps fill the graveyard, keeps the board full, and applies pressure or blockers, whichever is necessary. 2 Subtlety. I have very mixed feelings about this. I've played a fair amount of Arena. These see some play, not a lot of play. And it feels a little bit better in paper, and I still need a little bit more, some more games under my belt to fully think a little bit more on that. But so far, I'm liking it more than I did than I do on Arena. These babies I just got in the mail today, as of recording. 3 Murktide Regent, 7 mana 3/3 with Delve. It has flying. It enters with 1/1 counters equal number of instants and sorceries at 8. And whenever an instant or sorcery leaves, it gets a 1/1 counter. It gets bigger, starts off pretty big with this deck. So hopefully that'll be worth the investment. 2 Spell Pierce, a little bit of interaction, cheap. And it can mess with anything that's not a creature, which is everything, or lands. 3 Fatal Push, one of the best removal spells in the format. It doesn't care about toughness, doesn't matter about power, as long as it is 2 or 4 or less, depending on if you trigger the Revolt or not. This clears most of the format. Not everything, but most. Next up, we have 4 Thought Scours, which is a single blue instant. A target player mills 2, and then you draw a card. Helps fill the graveyard really fast, and just helps dig. Sometimes it's advantageous to mill your opponent. Not often, but sometimes. And it's just a little bit of versatility, and it helps fill cards for Abhorrent, and Murktide. And I guess technically Frog. Next up, this is one of the more budget options in the deck. I've got 4 Mana Leak. Just a cheap counterspell. That's not much a lot to say about it. It's worse mid or later in the game, but is fairly solid, especially with trying to be a tempo deck. Next up, we have 4 counterspells. Definitely better than the Mana Leaks, but I figured 2 cheap counterspells are usually pretty decent. I definitely swapped the Mana Leaks out for some Force of Denials if I ever get any, but we'll have to see on that. Next up, you've got 3 Unearth. For a single black mana, you choose a creature card from your graveyard with mana value 3 or less and put it into play. It also has cycling, and you can either get back frogs, it can get back Oculuses, and that's a good way to get around having to exile the 6 additional cards for Oculus. Next up, we have 4 Preordains. Very standard draw spell. Blue, sorcery, scry 2, draw a card. Next up, we have 4 Inquisitions. For a single black mana sorcery, your target player reveals their hand. I choose a non-land target mana value 3 or less, and they discard it. There's arguments for running these versus Thoughtseizes. I'm running these due to budget concerns primarily, but Thoughtseizes would be somewhere in the list if I had them. And then 2 Lorien Revealed, 5 mana, 3 blue sorcery. You draw 3 cards. Island Cycling. There's a low land count, so it helps with filtering the deck out a little bit. It's another sorcery for the graveyard. It helps fill the graveyard just for the Oculus. Very, very strong card for what it does. Currently have 1 Flooded Strand, 1 Polluted Delta, 3 Darkslick Shores, 2 fancy ones, 1 Watery Grave, I believe that was 6 snow-covered islands. These should probably be non-snow covered, just for the off chance of facing against some LD stuff, but not that big of a deal around here. And then there are 5 snow swamps. Similar thing. Should probably be running regular basics, but and then 2 really budget options and 2 Sunken Hollow. Just another land that if I see one of my 2 fetch lands early, I can go get an untapped dual land. So I will very most likely have 2 basics out. And that's the main deck. Nothing super special or spicy in it, except the budget options are like not great, but they're not amazing or that bad either. They've been playable for years, just not higher power level stuff, I guess. And then for the sideboard, I've got 3 Nihil Spellbomb. Artifact for 1, tap, sack, exile target player's graveyard. This would effectively, if it dies, you may pay a black and you draw a card. Fairly good. There's a lot of graveyard stuff that goes around, so I like having a chunk of graveyard removal. Disruptor Flute. I have got mixed feelings about this. I see the strengths of this over a Pithy Needle, but I really like Pithy Needle in the sense that it's a 1-drop. I'm trying this out. I haven't played enough games with a sideboard against people to see where this matchup is really strong against. This is really strong against certain matchups, I'm guessing. 2 Dress Down. This is a card I've been wanting to try out for a little bit. 1 in a blue, instant or enchantment with flash. Enters, draw a card. Creatures lose all abilities. It dies at end of turn. Effectively a board wipe or board style stifle, and I kind of like that. You can just shut off opponent's creatures during their turn. 1 Stern Scolding. It hits some of the bigger threats or cheaper threats in the format, and it only costs 1 mana. Fairly strong. I play a lot of it on Arena. 1 more Dispel, just in case there's a lot of non-creature decks floating around. They are fairly easy to build nowadays, so creature light decks, I should say. 2 Dispel. Just countercharge an instant for a blue. Just a sideboard card in case I'm playing against another counter-heavy deck or a deck that I notice plays primarily instants for their interaction pieces. So these should probably be the one from Stubborn Denial. Don't have any of those and haven't found any around here recently while I've had money. So, and then 2 Annul. Instant, similar concept, counter artifact or enchantment. I know there's been a bunch of synthesizer decks going around, so just trying to have at least some early interaction. And then 3 Duress. For black sorcery, target opponent reveals their hand. You choose a non-creature, non-land, and they discard it. Similar thought process with the Inquisitions. It's good interaction early game. It usually hits what I want without any downside. Still rather have some Thoughtseizes somewhere in the mix. I'd probably go swap the Duresses for either just swap the Duresses for Thoughtseizes, or swap into main deck Thoughtseizes and go to 3 Inquisitions on the board. Hope everybody liked that. It was kind of fun going over my new modern deck. I haven't gotten to play this exact build yet. As of recording, just got the Murktides in today. If you guys have any comments, questions, concerns, don't be afraid to post them in the comments. And if you guys like this type of content, please don't forget to like, comment, and or subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.